My beloved brothers and sisters, have you ever wondered why some of the hardest moments in life come right before something beautiful happens? There are times when everything seems to go wrong. Doors begin to close, people walk away, your plans fall apart, and the future suddenly feels uncertain. In those moments, the heart quietly asks a painful question: why is this happening to me? But what if these moments are not the end of your story? What if these struggles are actually signs? Signs that Allah is preparing you for something greater than you ever imagined. Very often, before Allah places a blessing into the life of a believer, He allows certain tests to appear first. These tests shape the heart, strengthen faith, and prepare a person for what is coming next. So today, let us reflect on 5 powerful signs that often appear before Allah sends a blessing into your life. If you recognize these signs in your own journey, it may mean that your story is not falling apart. It may mean that Allah is preparing something beautiful just ahead. 1. Life begins to test your patience. My brothers and sisters, one of the first signs that Allah may be preparing something greater for you is when your life begins to test your patience in ways you never expected. There are moments in life when everything seems to be moving smoothly. Your plans appear clear, your goals feel close, and your efforts begin to show results. But suddenly things start to change. Situations that once felt easy become difficult. Opportunities that once seemed open begin to close. The progress you were making suddenly slows down or stops completely. It can feel confusing and even painful because you begin to wonder why things are no longer working the way they used to. During these moments, many people start questioning themselves. They begin to feel discouraged and may even lose hope. However, a believer understands that these moments are not random. These moments are often part of Allah's wisdom and plan. Allah sometimes places delays and difficulties in a person's path because He wants to strengthen their character and deepen their patience. Without patience, a person can easily become arrogant when blessings arrive or lose control when challenges appear. Patience builds stability in the heart and teaches the believer to remain calm even when life becomes uncertain. Allah reminds us in the Quran, Inna Allaha ma'as sabirin. Indeed, Allah is with those who are patient. This verse carries a powerful message. When Allah says He is with the patient, it means that His support, guidance and mercy accompany those who remain patient during hardship. The believer understands that patience is not simply waiting while feeling angry or hopeless. True patience means continuing to trust Allah even when the outcome is unclear. It means continuing to make effort while believing that Allah's plan is better than our own plans. Sometimes Allah delays success not because He wants to harm you or keep you away from goodness. Instead, He delays success because He wants to prepare you for the responsibility that comes with the blessing. Imagine someone receiving a great opportunity before they are emotionally or spiritually ready for it. That blessing might overwhelm them, or they may misuse it. But when patience has strengthened the heart, the believer becomes capable of handling both success and hardship with wisdom. Many of the greatest people in history faced long periods of difficulty before their blessings arrived. Their patience during those difficult moments shaped their character and allowed them to grow into stronger individuals. The same can happen in our lives. What appears to be a delay may actually be a period of preparation. What feels like a struggle may actually be shaping your heart, your mindset, and your faith. A blessing that arrives without patience can easily lead to pride, carelessness, or ingratitude. But a blessing that arrives after patience becomes something deeply meaningful. It reminds the believer of how much they relied on Allah during the journey. It fills the heart with gratitude and humility because the person understands that every good thing ultimately comes from Allah. So when life begins to test your patience, do not immediately assume that something has gone wrong. Instead, pause and reflect. Perhaps Allah is strengthening your heart. Perhaps He is teaching you trust. And perhaps He is preparing you for a blessing that requires a stronger, wiser, and more grateful version of yourself. 2. Certain people begin to leave your life. My brothers and sisters, another powerful sign that often appears before Allah brings a new blessing into your life is that certain people begin to leave your life. This can be one of the most painful experiences a person goes through. There are moments when you trust someone deeply. You share your time with them, your thoughts, your struggles, and even your dreams. You believe they will always remain part of your journey. But suddenly, something changes. The relationship weakens, the communication fades, misunderstandings appear, or sometimes that person simply walks away. At first, the heart feels heavy. You may spend many nights thinking about what went wrong. You might replay conversations in your mind, wondering if you could have done something differently. The pain of losing someone you cared about can feel overwhelming. But a believer must remember that not every departure is a loss, and not every separation is a punishment. Sometimes it is Allah's protection. Allah, in His wisdom, sees what we cannot see. He knows the intentions hidden in hearts, the paths people are walking, and the influence they may have on our future. There are moments when Allah removes certain people from our lives because they were not meant to continue the journey with us. Their presence may have been suitable for a certain period of our lives, but not for the chapter that is coming next. The Prophet ﷺ taught us an important principle when he said that a person follows the religion and character of their close companion. So a person should be careful about whom they take as a close friend. This reminder shows us how powerful the influence of people around us can be. The people we spend time with shape our thoughts, our habits, and even our direction in life. Sometimes Allah removes someone quietly because their presence could have slowly pulled you away from goodness. Sometimes He distances people from you because they would have distracted you from your purpose. And sometimes He allows relationships to end because He is making space for better companionship that will support your faith and your growth. When a person leaves your life, it may feel like something valuable has been taken away, but often what is really happening is that Allah is clearing the path ahead of you. The departure of certain people can create room for new opportunities, healthier relationships, and stronger connections with those who genuinely care for your well-being. A believer eventually realizes that not everyone who enters your life is meant to stay forever. Some people are lessons, some are tests, and some are temporary companions meant to teach you something before your journey continues. So if certain people have recently left your life, do not rush to see it only as a loss. Instead, reflect on it with patience and trust in Allah's wisdom. Perhaps Allah removed them because He wants to protect your heart. Perhaps He wants to guide you toward better company. Or perhaps He's preparing you to walk into a new chapter of your life that requires a different environment and different people around you. What feels like separation today may actually be a step towards something far better that Allah has already prepared for you. 3. Your heart starts returning to Allah. My brothers and sisters, one of the most beautiful signs that Allah may be preparing something good for you is when your heart slowly begins to return to Him. Sometimes this change happens quietly. It does not come with loud announcements or dramatic moments. Instead, it begins deep inside the heart. There are moments in life when a person becomes distracted by the world. Responsibilities, ambitions, relationships, and daily struggles can slowly pull the heart away from remembrance of Allah. A person may still believe, but the connection becomes weaker. Prayer may feel rushed. Dua may become less frequent. The heart may feel empty without understanding why. But then something begins to change. Perhaps you go through a difficult experience. Perhaps life places you in a situation where you feel lost or overwhelmed, and suddenly your heart begins to turn back toward Allah. You begin to feel a desire to pray with more sincerity. You find yourself making dua more often. Your heart becomes softer when you hear the Quran. Even in quiet moments, you begin remembering Allah more frequently. This is not a coincidence. This is a mercy from Allah. Allah sometimes allows a person to face certain hardships so that their heart can return to Him. When the heart reconnects with Allah, everything else in life begins to feel different. The believer starts to realize that true peace does not come from wealth, status, or approval from people. Real peace comes from being close to the one who created the heart. Allah reminds us in the Quran, أَلَا بِذِكْرِ اللَّهِ تَطْمَئِنُّ الْقُلُوبِ. Indeed, in the remembrance of Allah do hearts find peace. This verse explains something that many people search for their entire lives. People chase happiness in many directions. They look for comfort in material success, entertainment, or approval from others. Yet the heart often remains restless. But when a person sincerely remembers Allah, when they turn to Him in prayer and trust, a unique calm enters the heart that nothing else can provide. When your heart begins returning to Allah, you may notice certain changes within yourself. You begin to reflect more deeply on your actions. You become more careful about what you say and how you treat others. You begin to value sincerity and humility more than recognition or praise. The things that once seemed extremely important in the world begin to feel less powerful over your heart. This transformation is one of the greatest blessings a person can receive, because before Allah gives a person worldly blessings, He often strengthens their connection with Him. When a person is close to Allah, they are able to handle success with gratitude and humility. They understand that every blessing is a trust from Allah and not something they achieved alone. Many people receive blessings but become distracted by them. Their hearts become attached to the gift rather than the one who gave it. But when Allah first brings your heart closer to Him, He prepares you to receive blessings without losing your faith or your balance. Sometimes the difficulties you experience in life are actually guiding your heart back to the right direction. The loneliness, the confusion, and the moments of reflection may be gently leading you back toward Allah. And when the heart returns to Allah sincerely, it becomes stronger, calmer, and more hopeful. So if you notice that your heart has recently become more connected to prayer, more sincere in dua, and more aware of Allah in your daily life, recognize this as a beautiful sign. It may mean that Allah is not only guiding you back to Him, but also preparing you for blessings that will strengthen your faith and bring goodness into your life. Because the greatest success in life is not simply achieving worldly goals. The greatest success is having a heart that remains connected to Allah through every moment of the journey. 4. Doors closed that you really wanted. My brothers and sisters, one of the most difficult experiences a person can go through is when a door closes that they truly wanted to open. Sometimes you work very hard for something, you plan carefully, you make sincere dua, and you place a lot of hope in a certain opportunity, relationship, or future. In your mind, everything seems perfect. You imagine how life will look once that door finally opens. You begin to believe that this is exactly what you need in order to move forward. But then suddenly the door closes. Perhaps the opportunity disappears. Perhaps the plan fails at the last moment. Perhaps the relationship you believed in begins to break apart. What once felt so close now feels completely out of reach. In those moments, the heart can feel confused and even disappointed. A person may begin to wonder why Allah allowed them to hope for something that was never meant to happen. But this is where a believer must pause and remember something important. Allah's knowledge is perfect, while our understanding is limited. We only see the present moment, but Allah sees the entire journey of our lives. What we think is good for us may actually carry hidden harm that we cannot recognize yet. Allah reminds us in the Quran, وَعَسَىٰ أَن تَكْرَهُ شَيْئًا وَهُوَ خَيْرٌ لَكُمْ. Perhaps you dislike something while it is good for you. This verse teaches a powerful lesson about trust. Sometimes the things that disappoint us today are actually protecting us from problems we cannot see. A door that closes may be preventing a future hardship, a deeper heartbreak, or a situation that could distance us from what is truly best for our faith and well-being. Many times people only understand this wisdom later in life. They look back at moments where they felt rejected or disappointed, and they realize that if those doors had opened, their lives might have taken a direction that was not good for them. What once seemed like a painful loss slowly reveals itself as a form of protection. Allah sometimes closes certain doors because He wants to guide you toward a different path. That path may not be visible yet. It may take time before you understand why things unfolded the way they did. But every closed door carries a message. Your story is still being written, and Allah is still guiding your steps. When a door closes, it also teaches the believer an important quality known as tawakkul, which means placing complete trust in Allah. Tawakkul does not mean giving up effort. A believer still works hard, makes plans, and strives to achieve their goals. But at the same time, they understand that the final outcome always belongs to Allah. If something is meant for you, no one in the world can prevent it from reaching you. And if something is not meant for you, no amount of effort can force it to stay in your life. Sometimes Allah closes one door in order to open another door that is far better. The challenge is that we often focus so much on the door that closed that we forget to look around for the new opportunities Allah may be placing in front of us. When the heart remains patient and trusting, a believer begins to see that every ending can become the beginning of something greater. A closed door can also strengthen your relationship with Allah. It reminds you that your hopes should not be placed only in outcomes or plans, but in the one who controls every outcome. When a believer places their trust in Allah rather than in specific results, they find peace even when things do not go according to their expectations. So if a door has recently closed in your life, do not rush to see it only as a disappointment. Instead, try to view it through the lens of faith. Perhaps Allah closed that door to protect you. Perhaps He closed it to guide you toward a better opportunity. Or perhaps He closed it because something far greater is waiting for you further along your journey. The believer learns that every closed door carries wisdom, even if that wisdom becomes clear only with time. And when Allah closes a door, it is never the end of the story. It is simply a sign that He is guiding you toward a path that may be more beneficial for your life and your faith. 5. You begin to feel hope again. My brothers and sisters, after a period of difficulty, confusion and emotional struggle, something remarkable sometimes begins to happen in the heart of a believer. Slowly and quietly, hope begins to return. At first, it may be a small feeling, almost unnoticeable, but over time it grows stronger. The heaviness that once filled your heart starts to lift, and a sense of calm begins to replace the fear and sadness you once felt. During hard times, it is very easy for a person to feel overwhelmed. When problems continue for a long time, a person may begin to believe that their situation will never improve. They may feel as if they are trapped in a cycle of difficulty, but Allah, in His mercy, never leaves the believer in complete darkness. Even in the middle of hardship, Allah places signs of hope in the heart. Sometimes that hope appears through a simple thought that enters your mind. You begin to feel that perhaps Allah has not forgotten you. Perhaps the difficulties you experienced were not meant to destroy you, but to shape you into someone stronger. This realization can change the entire way a person views their struggles. Allah reminds us in the Quran, "La taqnatu min rahmatillah." Do not lose hope in the mercy of Allah. This message is incredibly powerful because it reminds believers that no matter how difficult life becomes, Allah's mercy is always greater than our problems. There is no hardship that Allah cannot remove, and there is no broken situation that He cannot repair. When hope begins to return to the heart, it is often a sign that Allah is preparing a new chapter in your life. After periods of patience, reflection, and growth, the believer begins to see life differently. The same challenges that once felt overwhelming no longer appear as frightening. Instead, they become reminders of how much strength Allah has already placed inside you. Hope also brings with it a renewed sense of trust in Allah. You begin to understand that every difficulty you faced had a purpose. Those long nights of worry, those moments of loneliness, and those experiences of disappointment were not meaningless. They were part of a journey that was guiding you closer to Allah and shaping you into a wiser and stronger person. Many people only recognize the value of hope after they have experienced hardship. When life is easy, a person may forget how much they depend on Allah. But when difficulties arise and the heart begins to seek comfort in Allah again, the relationship between the believer and their Creator becomes deeper and more sincere. Hope is also a sign that your heart has not been hardened by difficulty. Instead of becoming bitter or angry, your heart remains open to the mercy of Allah. You continue to believe that good things are possible even if you cannot see them yet. This mindset is a powerful form of faith because it shows that your trust in Allah remains strong even when life has been challenging. Sometimes the return of hope is the first sign that your circumstances are about to change. Allah often prepares the heart before He changes the situation around you. When the heart becomes calm, trusting, and hopeful again, the believer is ready to receive blessings with gratitude rather than fear. A hopeful heart also begins to notice the small blessings that were always present but previously overlooked. You begin to appreciate the simple things in life, such as moments of peace, the support of sincere people, and the ability to turn to Allah in prayer. These small blessings remind you that even during the hardest times, Allah was always caring for you. So if you begin to feel hope returning to your heart after a difficult period, recognize this as a beautiful sign. It may be a sign that Allah is preparing something better for you. It may be a sign that your patience is being rewarded. And it may be a sign that the chapter of hardship is slowly giving way to a chapter of relief and blessing. The believer learns that hope is not simply a feeling, it is a reflection of faith. It is the quiet confidence that Allah's plan is always greater than our fears, and that His mercy can transform even the darkest moments of life into opportunities for growth and blessing. My beloved brothers and sisters, life is a journey filled with moments that test our hearts and challenge our faith. Sometimes those moments feel overwhelming. We may feel tired, confused, or even broken by the difficulties we face. But a believer must always remember that no test from Allah is meaningless. Every hardship carries wisdom. Every delay carries purpose, and every struggle carries the possibility of a blessing that is yet to arrive. If you are going through a difficult time right now, do not think that Allah has forgotten you. Perhaps these tests are not meant to break you, but to prepare you for a stronger faith, a wiser heart, and a blessing that will arrive at the right time. The believer learns to remain patient, to continue making dua, and to trust that Allah's plan is always better than our own plans. Even when the path is unclear, Allah is still guiding every step. So keep your heart connected to Allah. Continue to seek Him in your prayers. Continue to trust His wisdom even when life becomes difficult. Because when Allah decides to open a door for you, no one can close it. And when the blessing written for you finally arrives, you will understand why the journey had to unfold the way it did. May Allah fill our hearts with patience, strengthen our faith during times of difficulty, and bless us with goodness in both this life and the hereafter. Ameen.